everyone, it's Maki. Reconguista in G is one of the stories in the Gundam series created by Yoshiyuki Tomino, the creator of Universal Century. As I mentioned on my show, it depicts the new type Mr. Tomino imagines. Do you know what the G in the title means? By the way, do you think it refers to Gundam? That interpretation is of course correct. The word Gundam is clearly written in the title. However, a commercial name and the name Mr. Tomino imagines are not always the same. This time, I'll share with you the latest information that Mr. Tomino discussed. We'll analyze the content based on an interview published in the Japanese newspaper Yomiuri Shimbun on November 13, 2025. Before we get to the main topic, I have a quick announcement. My channel is recruiting supporters through memberships. For a monthly fee of 99 cents, you can receive a name badge and comment stamps. Alright, let's begin the analysis. When analyzing Mr. Tomino's thoughts, it's helpful to start with an important piece of information. The term Reconguista is key. It is a coined term based on the Spanish word reconquistar. In Spanish, reconquista can mean restoration or reconquest. It can also refer to a movement aimed at reclaiming lost territory. Mr. Tomino adjusted this word with the intention of making it sound stronger and creating a memorable title, resulting in Reconguista. The meaning of the word is not clearly defined. Each viewer must interpret its meaning for themselves. In the story, some characters use Reconguista to refer to an operation in which people who have lived in space for a long time return to Earth. Despite being from different places, people living on the Moon and on Venus all use the common word Reconguista. In the story's world, returning to Earth is referred to as Reconguista. Now let's take a look at Mr. Tomino's thoughts. This story is not Gundam, it is Reconguista in G. While I don't mind if people interpret the letter G as meaning Gundam, I asked the company not to write the word Gundam in the title. However, as I expected, the word Gundam was written next to the letter G. The G in the title means gravity. It carries the idea of humanity being liberated from gravity. These are Mr. Tomino's words. Some fans may have wondered, doesn't G mean ground? There was a time when Mr. Tomino said in an interview that it meant ground. The subtitle of the final episode is standing on the ground, so that interpretation fits the story as well. In this case, it's reasonable to conclude that Mr. Tomino intended the letter G to have multiple meanings. Since gravity is a force generated by the ground, interpreting them as essentially the same is not incorrect. So, is it wrong to think that the letter G also represents Gundam? Not at all. The title screen clearly shows it, so it's reasonable to interpret G means Gundam as an official viewpoint. I don't think this interpretation contradicts Mr. Tomino's thoughts. In many of his writings, he has expressed that he struggles with the restrictions placed on him by Gundam. Because Gundam was a commercially successful work, many people ended up seeing him as Tomino, the creator of Gundam. This is something many famous creators experience. Therefore, it hasn't been unusual for Mr. Tomino to make statements that sound as if he dislikes Gundam. However, his recent comments have shifted slightly. I previously introduced an interview with Mr. Tomino that appeared in the magazine. In that interview, he expressed a strong desire to try creating a new Gundam. Of course, he may have said that just to make the interview exciting. Personally though, I want to take his words at face value. It's fascinating that someone who once struggled with the overwhelming presence of Gundam and distanced himself from it can now say I want to create a Gundam. Let's consider this in the context of Zeta Gundam. The people in the organizations in Zeta Gundam act on the belief that humanity should migrate to space and the lower Earth to rest for environmental recovery. The Augo the Titans and even Axis all act based on this idea. However, they become enemies over the question of who should lead. There's even a scene in which the protagonist, Kamiyubitan, explodes with anger over the situation. They insist that humans must leave Earth, yet they always include the idea of Earth in their words. Ironically, the very people who insist on liberation from Earth are themselves bound to Earth in their hearts. This phenomenon reappears in later works, such as Gundam Double Zeta and Sha's counterattack. Even as the characters talk about leaving Earth, their thoughts remain centered on it. However, Belry Zenam, the protagonist of Reconguista in G, rarely speaks that way. He treats space and Earth as similar places. After experiencing so much in space, Belry embarks on a journey at the end of the story to see Earth with his own eyes. To him, Earth and space aren't disconnected or separate, they are parts of the same large world. Isn't that what true liberation looks like? I'm sorry if my explanation became difficult to follow. I believe something similar may be happening in Mr. Tomino's heart as well. He may have moved beyond viewing Gundam as an overly special burden and come to the realization that Gundam is simply one of many forms of visual expression. We could call this the reconquista of the existence of Gundam. It's a state in which he is free from the idea of Gundam as something special and can accept it as normal. If we interpret it that way, then the word Gundam appearing in the title of Reconquista in G does not seem strange at all. Of course, remember that this includes my personal interpretation. What meaning do you see in the letter G? If you'd like, tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you in the next episode.